The night the hospital called, Lena Brooks felt her heart collapse. Her 72-year-old grandmother, her only living family, had suffered a sudden heart failure. The hospital would perform the surgery, but only if Lena paid a $48,000 deposit. Lena worked 2 jobs, barely making rent. The thought of losing her grandmother, the woman who raised her since she was 5, made her chest tighten. "I'll find a way," she whispered, even though she had no idea how. But fate had a strange way of stepping in. At the hospital billing office, Lena waited hopelessly in line, clutching the estimate. A passing nurse overheard her pleading voice and paused. "There is someone who helps in special cases," she said. "Surgeon, Dr. Sterling Black." Lena had heard the name Sterling Black was one of the youngest cardiothoracic stars in the country, a prodigy. A man who rarely even met patients outside the operating room. She was told he sometimes offered private medical grants, but only under one condition. The patient must sign a confidentiality contract and agree to become his short-term personal assistant. No one knew why. It sounded strange. But she had no choice. That evening, Lena stood outside Dr. Black's private office, hands shaking. The door opened, and he appeared tall, composed, almost intimidatingly calm. Yet his eyes carried a quiet grief. "What do you need?" he asked. "My grandmother," she whispered. "She'll die without surgery. I'll do anything, work, assist, volunteer. Please, let me save her." For a moment he stared at her, studying her desperation. Then he slid a folder across his desk. "This contract gives your grandmother full priority treatment," he said. "No cost." Lena's breathing hitched. "But," he continued, "for 1 month, you'll work exclusively for me. No quitting, no disappearing, no limits on ours." She expected coldness. Instead, his voice was gentle, almost pleading. "Will not be harmed," he added softly. "Just stay." It was an unusual deal, but clean, professional, bound by legal terms. Lena signed, and her grandmother was wheeled into surgery that same night. Lena's month with Dr. Black began the next morning. She expected impossible tasks, coffee runs, file organizing, late-night calls. But instead she found herself helping with things that surprised her. Scheduling therapy appointments he never attended, reminding him to eat. Preparing family photos he shoved in a drawer, reading letters addressed to his late parents. Sterling Black wasn't cold. He was broken. A tragic accident 2 years earlier had taken both his parents, also surgeons. After their deaths, he isolated himself, treating patients but refusing to form any personal connection. Until Lena. She was the first person who looked at him not as a prodigy or a surgeon or a savior, but as a human. One night, Lena found Sterling in his office, motionless, staring at a medical file his own. "Are you sick?" she whispered, afraid of the answer. He closed the folder quickly, his hands trembling. "I have a rare degenerative condition," he confessed. "It's early, but it can cost me my career. I need someone who grounds me, keeps me steady, someone whose presence quiets my mind." Lena felt a chill. "You think I'm that person?" He looked up, eyes vulnerable. "I know you are. The moment you walked into my office, I felt something I haven't felt in years, clarity." She was stunned. This wasn't a man saving her. This was a man who also needed saving. As days passed, their dynamics shifted. Lena wasn't just his assistant, she became his anchor. She helped him with his research, organized his life, even made him laugh for the first time in years. And Sterling, in return, became gentle with her, protective in ways he couldn't hide. One evening, after reviewing patient files, he said softly, "You didn't sell anything to me, Lena. You gave me something I forgot existed. Hope." Her heart trembled. "And you saved my family," she whispered. "Without asking what it cost me." He shook his head. "I rescued your grandmother. But you rescued me." When Lena's contract ended, she returned to her simple life waitressing, studying part-time, caring for her recovering grandmother. She expected Sterling to move on, but he didn't. 2 weeks later, he appeared at her doorstep with a small potted olive tree. "My mother used to say, olive trees symbolize second chances," he said. Then he looked at her with the softest expression she had ever seen. "Lena, may I stay in your life? Not as your employer, not as your contract, but as someone who healed because of you." She stared at him, heart full. "Only," she murmured, "if I can stay in yours?" He smiled, something rare and precious. You're already there. Months later. Sterling Black's condition stabilized, partly due to treatment, partly due to the emotional healing he finally allowed. Lena started training as a medical assistant with his full support. Grandmother called him a miracle born out of tragedy, and in a way, she was right. Two broken souls had crossed paths out of desperation, only to discover that salvation was never one-sided. They were each other's cure.